Hello everyone! We are back again. And this time we're going to learn how to merge two different exposures. One for foreground and another one that's exposed for the Milky Way. As you can see between the two, the difference here. Up here, as you look in the upper right below the histogram here, it'll give you some exposure information. 50 millimeters is not right, actually. It's 14 millimeter. Over here, it says 89 seconds. About that, 90 seconds. Minute and a half. So even though I probably went a little high on the ISO, and I could have probably gone lower and gone to a little bit longer, maybe 2 minutes. But we're okay. I mean, you look down here, you'll see what we got, how much detail and information there is. Even though it is a little high on ISO, I gotta admit, it really is. I probably could have gone like 2000 ISO and gone 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes. But it is what it is. But a minute and a half, zoom in, see how much star trailing there is. So what we're gonna do is mix this. If you look up the upper right, again, 35 seconds for the Milky Way. And I process this image just like in the previous lessons, how to post-process the Milky Way. And if you need to review how to do it in Lightroom, go ahead and go back in the previous lesson and review it. And this is where we are at with the Milky Way, doing the same thing, the same processing techniques, exact same thing for Lightroom. My Lightroom post-processing is the same every time. It's just a basic raw processing. Now this photo, I am specifically processed it for the foreground, ignoring anything in the sky. So this is what it looks like straight out of camera. And I've already done what I wanted to do, and I'll just go through it real quick. And I made some adjustments in the highlights, mostly because of these lights and buildings here, which eventually I'll probably clone out. And I just added some contrast, give it a little bit of pop. Shadows, I raised shadows up to bring detail and information back in the shadows. And then to regain some of that pop again and the contrast that was lost by bringing up shadows, I brought down blacks. And you will see it over here, this area right here. I brought up shadows quite a bit, significantly, and blacks I just brought down a little bit, much less, but has a much greater impact than shadows. So then I felt that I needed a little bit more bump in contrast. So I was up at plus 36 or 36% contrast. I bumped it up a little more to 48%, almost 50%. I changed the temperature. I made an adjustment on that. And that is ultimately to kind of make it match, especially these distant mountains, to match the sky a little bit so they'll blend in better. And I added the clarity. That actually kind of just sharpens the image a little bit. Uses a mid-tone contrasting to sharpen the image. Then, like I said before, chromatic aberration. Remember the color fringing? And I did my noise reduction. Come back up again, detail. Noise reduction, I brought it up pretty high. Typical for what I do for 65 or 6400 ISO. And then I brought back some detail. I brought up to about 60. And zoom in once it loads. Here we are. Obviously, 6400 ISO. You will lose information, you will lose sharpness, you will lose clarity. That's why it's better to shoot at a lower ISO and longer exposures, or better yet, shoot at a very low ISO, the lowest your camera can go at dusk, when there's still a slight hint of light left. That's actually the best way to do it. But in this case, I'll just do this, a nighttime photo, actually taken a few minutes after this Milky Way shot. So that's basic Lightroom. So that's it for the Lightroom processing here, and from here on out we'll go over to Photoshop. So I'm going to click this photo, it's the one I processed for the Milky Way, and with a control and then click the photo that I processed for the foreground. Just select both of them and then right click, go up to edit in, and come down and open as layers in Photoshop. And it'll take a good minute to do it.